So I've had a lot of comments on my channel over, well, the 2+ years I've been doing it. How do you manage your financial portfolio without a retirement advisor? Well, I'll get into that in this video. First of all, comments. Comments, guys. Comments is the lifeline of this channel, as you know. Leave me a comment. Are you currently working with a financial advisor? And if you are, is it a fee-only financial advisor, or are they taking a percentage of your assets under management? Let me know. Very curious on that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to break this down into two phases: my pre-retirement phase and post-retirement phase. Okay? So pre-retirement. Let me go through 6 steps in pre-retirement of how I manage my retirement in general and my retirement finances. First of all, I got an MBA back in 1992. Okay, so this gives me a good general knowledge. I'm talking general. Okay, I didn't specify a certain part of finance that I wanted to focus my attention on. Okay, I was a marketing major to get my MBA, but in the course of that, you need to take your prerequisites. You have to take all kinds of finance courses. So I have a good general knowledge of financial terms and financial products. One big exception, Bitcoin. I don't know anything about Bitcoin, but I got my MBA about 30 years ago. But surprisingly, a lot of the stuff is still valid, okay? So that's the number one thing. Back in 92, I got my MBA from UC Berkeley. Second thing, when I was 40 years old, I went to a financial advisor for a 1-hour appointment. This is when I first started getting serious about retiring and saving for retirement. Got a lot of good knowledge, but it was kind of general, okay? He kind of put me on the right path, looked at what I was doing, said, yeah, I think your plan looks pretty good. So I went from there, okay? I thought I had the 1 hour, in other words, the 1 hour was good enough for me. Okay, I thought I could handle it on my own after that. For some of you, that may not be, and there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. If you feel you need a financial advisor, by all means, get one. There are plenty of good ones out there. Third step, I soaked up as much investing, retirement knowledge as possible via the print sources, internet. Back then, yeah, YouTube wasn't even formed yet. That's one thing you got to do, guys, is as soon as you start saving for retirement, as soon as you start investing, soak up all that knowledge that you can. You know what? It's not hard, but it does take a little time to get yourself comfortable with different forms of financial terms, investing terms. So believe me, it does take a little work, but it's an ongoing process. Don't you want to keep learning? Even if you're retired, but especially pre-retirement, okay? You got to do this. For those of you who see me for the first time, my name is Duane, and this is a channel for retiring on moderate income. If that's something you think you might like the video and think about subscribing. And if you really like it, down here are 2 other ways you can support this channel. Number 4, once I started saving seriously, I monitored my portfolio constantly. Now, by constantly, I don't mean daily, but definitely once a week, okay? I was investing into a 401k at the time through my company. Yeah, you too? What was your percentage? Company match? My Ravens, they're so financially astute. So yeah, I was monitoring at the time it was through Vanguard, my Vanguard site constantly, once a week, seeing the ups, the downs, just getting comfortable. You have to be comfortable, you know, in what you're investing in. If you don't understand something, ask questions, or if not, go on the internet, go anywhere and look up the definition of the terms you're not sure about. So I was monitoring my stuff at least once a week. Number 5, I remember in the very beginning, I actually dabbled in individual stocks for a while. I'd say 5-6 months, but I very quickly found out that if you're not willing, now, like I said, I've been investing a lot in, knowledge about financial terms, finance, retirement in general. But if you're not willing to put in a lot of work into looking into a company, what are they good on? You know, what's their everything? Who's backing them? ROI, all that kind of stuff. You shouldn't go dabbling into individual stocks. Let's put it that way. I tried for like 2 or 3 different individual stocks. Boo! I learned quickly that wasn't what I wanted to do. So I started investing in target date retirement funds. Yes, I know some of you are going to say, "Oh, that's just so easy. It's just so elementary." You know what? It's done me well. I'm 4 years into retirement, and I think I'm doing pretty well. So for those of you who do not want to put in the time that it takes to properly investigate a company you want to invest in, I wouldn't recommend individual stocks. Number 6, 3 years before I retired, I ramped up my retirement knowledge. And of course, right when I'm doing a video, a dirt bike starts coming up. Hey, Ravens, go take care of them. I ramped up my retirement knowledge about 3 years before retiring. Guys, you can do this. It's not hard, okay? Financial wisdom is one thing, but you also have to look at what does it mean to be retired? Okay, here are 4 channels. Some I've mentioned before, one I have not, that I really started looking at about 3 years before I retired. Rob Berger, great financial knowledge. He is a retired securities attorney. Great channel. If you almost anything finance, you can find it on there. And he's got a great live session. I believe he does every Monday or every other Monday. Check it out. Joe Kuhn. Joe is good in the financial part, but I got a lot of stuff just on retirement life from Joe. And as you guys have known, Joe and I have done a couple collaborations lately. If you haven't seen them yet, check them out. We're up to episode 4 now. Yeah. And we'll keep going as long as you guys want us to. Joe has a lot of good information just because he's given his journey, his retirement journey. I got a lot of good information from Joe. Another one, 2 Sides of FI. I've mentioned them before. For especially those of you thinking about retiring early, check out 2 Sides of FI. It's about 2 guys, I believe they are 51 years old now. One retired about 4 years ago, one about a year ago. And they go through just so many different great topics that I got a lot of knowledge out of listening to them before I retired. And obviously before I started my channel. I didn't start my channel till 2022. I retired in 2021. And the last one that I don't think I've mentioned on this channel before, Diamond Nest Egg. She does a great job explaining step by step. In my case, I wanted to invest in I-bonds. Wasn't sure about the best way to go about doing that. She explained exactly how you can invest in I-bonds. You can go directly to Treasury Direct and invest, or you can invest through an individual broker. Diamond Nest Egg, very good, specific information. Okay, so post-retirement. That was all leading up to my retirement. Now that I've been retired, how do I manage my stuff without a financial advisor? First thing I do, well, the first couple of years, I monitored my portfolio. Hate to say it, but if not daily, then at least 3-4 times a week, especially because, as you know, and you guys probably heard me talk about this ad nauseum, but it's very important. It's very important on my journey. I went through a sequence of returns risks 6 months into my retirement. After I retired, the market tanked. You better believe I was looking at my portfolio on my brokerage website constantly. If you're not willing to do that, especially in the very beginning of your retirement, get a financial advisor. And again, if you're not comfortable with financial terms, look it up, especially if you're doing it on your own. But even if you get a financial advisor, look up these terms so you don't just trust them for everything. You want to know exactly how they're investing your money, okay? So the first thing I did, the first 2 years now, 4 years into it, I don't look at my investments that often. Couple times a month. The one time I have to is for my, monthly portfolio review that I put a video out on. I might do it once, another time, maybe, 2 weeks before that, just to check it out. But guys, it gets easier. Once you retire, you don't have to constantly check. You get more comfortable. You're saying, you know what? Maybe I got this thing down right. Now, I am only 4 years in, okay? So far, we're doing pretty good, I think. All right? Check back with me 4 years from now. Number 2, I have learned since starting my YouTube channel, in November, actually the day after Thanksgiving 2022, I have learned so much more about finance a little bit, but mostly just retirement in general. Now, I know that's a specific case for me. Okay, this is what I do now. Okay, I spend 5 to 8. Sometimes if it's a busy week, 10 hours a week on my channel, usually between 5 and 8 hours per week on my channel. But what am I doing? I'm researching topics, retirement topics. So guys, hey, you might have a YouTube channel when you retire. I don't know. But if you don't, you got to keep learning. You got to keep looking at what's new in retirement. You know, look at all the articles that are coming out. Look at all the financial articles that are coming out too. Even if you're not drawn to numbers, man, if you are managing your stuff on your own, you better understand the terms, okay, at a minimum. So yeah, that's what because of my channel, I'm automatically looking at this stuff all the time. I know a lot more now than when I retired. And number 3, this kind of goes to number 2 in a way. You got to remain curious, okay? You have to remain curious after retirement. Okay, now if you have 15 million in the bank and your expenses are pretty low, maybe not. But for those of us on moderate income, you have to remain curious, guys. Don't just say I've retired, that's it. Now, if you have a financial advisor, okay, I can see more of that attitude creeping in. Okay, but even then, learn. Learn so you can ask them questions. Why are you investing my money like this? What is this fee for? You have to keep learning. Even when you're retired, that's what I'm doing. I'm still soaking up. Even if I didn't have this channel, I would still be soaking up as much retirement and financial knowledge as possible. And for those of you that, are not using a financial advisor, you better be doing that. If you don't understand something that you see on the internet, if you see in a YouTube video, if you read in print, find out what it means. Don't just gloss over it. Yeah, it might take, I don't know, a couple minutes, maybe 5 to 10 minutes if you're reading an article to get a better understanding of it. But if you are managing your own money, I would like to think that I would be doing that, and I am. I hope you are as well. So guys, there you go. That's how I manage my retirement financial stuff without a financial advisor, pre and post-retirement. Hopefully some of that might help you. And as always, from a beautiful, look at this, hardly any wind today. It's amazing. And my ravens are still staring at me, wondering when I'm going to feed them. I'll be there in a minute, boys and girls. Thanks for your input on this. As always, we got this.